Welcome back to our channel. This is Build Divide Worldwide. I'm Jay.
And I'm Josh, and today we're going to be going over the newly released set list of BT8.
So let's just get into it. There's about 84 cards in the set, so we're going to look over each one briefly and see what we can find. The first card is a 3-cost black. It says this unit can attack standing units. If it's destroyed in battle, it can destroy a 5-cost or lower that it was in battle with.
So, nah.
I think that's pretty good. If it sticks on the field, it basically just trades with anything. If it only drives the triggers.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's pretty good.
I think they are making a lot of cards in this set specifically to deal with Weenie Rush.
Yeah.
Which has been just dominating the meta with Rebecca. The most recently, Tanjiro winning the regional. Weenie Rush is a problem.
So the next card is a Buster, 6 cost.
Suretto.
Yeah.
When this unit battles, when battle finishes, destroy this unit. And
okay.
this unit gains 3,000 power and decoy if your territory is open. So it's potentially 11k with decoy and 2 hits.
I think it's still terrible.
Not the kind I think it could see play with Margiris's territory. Because that technically
evolve into it.
Yeah, Margiris's territory is when it wins a battle. So it's not at the battle end. So that would trigger first.
Yeah, it would, yeah. It's interesting. It depends on if there's a good 7 cost that it can evolve into, so.
Yeah. We'll see.
Next one, a 1 cost Buster.
That's definitely for the gotcha deck. The twin maids.
Yeah.
So when it's summoned from the grave, you can send the top card of your opponent's life to the grave. If it's a Buster during this turn, this card gains 3,000 power.
Yeah. I think that'd be difficult in the Maids deck because that means you have to only mill 1 Buster.
No, it's the territory says you can summon a cost equal to or lower then.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not ideal. You don't want to summon the 1 cost, but it is an option to get it out there.
Oh, just an extra damage, I guess. Next card looks really cool. Madrenu.
Was with wheelchair waifus.
Kind of creepy, but what is she? She's Fushi?
Like
Fushi? Undead?
Undead, yeah.
Oh, creepy.
So she is an Aval card, which is the new gimmick in this set, which is you can pay a different price or a different cost as opposed to the one that's printed on the card in order to gain a secondary effect. So her Aval effect is when you summon her with an extra cost, which is 3 black instead of 2, you can target one of your opponent's units and it loses 4,000 power.
And when the territory is open, she gains 3k, so she's a 5-drop 8/5.
If your territory is already open.
Yeah. She's pretty big, but the extra 1 cost for a kill could be good. Situational. I think there are other choices though.
Like I said, I think they're trying to hit Weenie Rush hard. Set, which
is
why all these negative effects and like killing things that are less than 5 cost.
Now on to the new...
Especially 1 card later in the set is very much a weenie killer.
Yeah. The next character is the Magiris Remade Ace.
Yes, this one's a 4 cost. Both his territories are 5 costs, so.
Yeah, he can attack standing units, and if it battles with an ace, you can put the top of your life into the grave, and if you do, it gains 2,000 power. I think this card is awful.
I honestly think it could see play just as another territory opener in the Margiris deck. It does have the nice situational effect, or not effect, but like it puts you in a situation where if you play this on 4 and you open your territory on turn 5, you can most certainly kill the opponent's ace because it can attack standing units and it gets a 2k buff if you're attacking an ace.
Yeah, but so you lose a life.
But the regular Margiris just kills an opponent's life anyway whenever it attacks. I don't think it's a bad trade to gain that much board position. But I do think we'll have to see what the meta shapes out to be. Because right now
Yeah.
it's heavy Weenie Rush, so I'm not sure if this Marguerus can like make a difference at all.
Yeah, I think it's just like another way to evolve into your 5 Marguerus.
That is
I
that
do
definitely might be a
like
thing.
the evolve deck though. It's pretty cool.
So this one is Sheetis. She is another Avol card, so you can play her with a red. So probably you're going to use her red and black deck, which is kind of interesting because some Ishtarte decks have started experimenting with red and black, although the most popular one is black and blue. But her Evol effect is that you can put the top 3 cards of your deck into your energy, and then put up to 3 cards from your energy into your graveyard, depending on the number you put in there. And for each card put in your graveyard during the turn during your turn, she gains 1,000 power. So on summon, she is potentially a 7K.
7/5.
If you play her with Evil. 7/5, sorry. If you play her with Evil.
Yeah, and she gets that buff endlessly, so if you mill a bunch of cards, she just keeps getting buffed.
Yeah. It's also during the turn, so she doesn't have to be on the field when you activate the effect.
I think she does, if that's how they're doing the Anata no Tanchu.
It's the same with that's why Rebecca's territory works though when you turn it into an assault territory. That's why you get the effects again, because it says during your turn. It's not necessarily
It says
that it has to be an assault territory.
okareta toki.
あなたのターン中、あなたの墓地にカードを置かれたとき、
So when a card is put into your grave, so she has to be on the field to have that activate. It doesn't count.
I mean, that's how Rebecca's territory is worded, though.
It says when you draw.
Yeah, it says when you draw a card. Depending on the number of cards you draw, you can activate these effects. So I think we'll probably have to look that up in the rules.
Yeah.
Alright, next card is all yours.
Next card is just a vanilla. We're gonna skip it. It's a 5. It's not that good. Okay, onto the...
You can take this one.
The first...
You cut nothing.
So the next card is the first shot. 2 cost quick. Target one of your opponent's units. It gets minus 5k. I don't think that's that bad because you can use it on turn 1 for sure. But as a shot, I think there are just better options.
Yeah, it feels very much like Black's answer to Unexpected Shock, which is a 1-cost 5k that you can also play on turn 1.
Or a safe card for turn 1 to not take damage. Just kill any weenie.
Yeah, this card art though is giving some heavy Dami Mami energy.
I like them horns. Next.
God. Next card is When You Are Sleeping. So target one of your opponent's units and mill 3 cards from the top of your deck to your cemetery. For each unit, during this turn, that target, which is your opponent's unit, loses 1 hit. I don't think this is that great.
I think as a mill card, it's pretty decent combined with that last buster that gets buffed when cards get put into your grave.
It is also a shot though. That's another shot slot, and do you really want an effect like that on a shot?
It depends on how many creatures you use, and if you want a bunch of creatures in your grave. I don't know. I think it has its uses, definitely. If you drop that, what was it? The 3 cost 4/5, and then you trigger this, or you cast it from hand, and you hit like a couple units. She's a 6/5. 3 cost 6/5. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I just think there are cards you'd rather have in the shot slot besides this one.
Yep.
Like if you were playing any blue at all, you could have the 2 cost minus 2 hit draw 1 card.
Yeah, and it doesn't kill, it just minuses hit, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Next card. Mayonaka no Paredo. Midnight Parade.
So you can summon a 1 cost a 2 cost and a 3 cost from your graveyard, but during the end phase, they get removed.
As long as
your
they're black.
graveyard has, yeah, as long as they're black, you can summon a 1, 2, and 3 cost. But at your end phase, they get removed if you don't have 15 cards in grave. If you have 15 or less cards, they get removed during your end phase. I assume that if you have more, they stay. So it's potentially very powerful.
Wow,
For,
yeah.
Made deck. I think they really want to make it a thing, or even just
I think that that's really strong. It's a card that summons 3 units, and even though 1-cost units usually have no hit, if you summon this 1-cost Buster, your opponent loses a life.
Yeah.
That's strong. Wow. I like that. And the black 3-cost Buster as well. You just need to find a good 2-cost Buster now, or like a good 2-cost creature that's black. Yeah. I like that a lot. There is a 2-cost. There is an old 2-cost that at end of turn checks top deck and mills it if you want.
Oh god, I forgot what his name is. Something Mason.
Okay, yeah. This card is pretty. I like it. I'm interested in the main deck now with this card.
We could definitely try it out.
And you definitely need to be able to mill though. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, next card.
We have a revamp of Claudia.
Yeah.
Claudia's territory is 5 costs, so you're probably going. She's the only. God, I think she and the Black Aura Ace, I think, are the only 2 aces that haven't gotten a second territory yet.
Yeah. So if all your energy is rested, she can't be attacked. And when this unit is played, when this unit attacks a player and is not blocked,
yep,
and all of your energy is rested, you can shoot something for 6k. I like it.
I think that's a strong effect. Specifically because Claudia's territory gives 1 unit the ability that it cannot be blocked.
Yep. And you swing straight through for 2. She can't be swung on the backswing if you plan it right. And she nukes something. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's another ace to open up that territory besides the original Claudia.
Yeah, that's true.
Next card.
Mia. She is an Avol unit with Blitz. And if she's summoned with Avol, you can draw 2 and discard 1. I don't think this is going to see a lot.
No, that's 7 cost for a draw 2, ditch 1 win. You can do it on the 3-cost Buster. It's a 4/5.
Yeah, or just playing Rebecca, even.
Yeah.
Rebecca draws 2, ditches 1, essentially, and she also has Blitz.
Next card. Art looks pretty good. Bilma. 4 cost, 3/5. This unit cannot block. Wait, this unit cannot be blocked.
Yes.
When it attacks your opponent and it is not blocked, looks like a new theme for that deck. You shoot something for 3k. That's
and that's not even a territory effect.
Yeah.
It's just always on her.
Camouflage waifu. Swing through, shoot something for 3. 3 is not all that powerful though, so I hope to see something else that can combo with that.
I think if you do use that card, it'll only be used in the early game.
Or with the card that says if something was damaged, shoot it for 10.
Or Claudia. If you have this as well as Claudia.
Claudia damages too.
Shoot something for 3k, shoot something for 6k.
But she's a 4 cost.
Yeah, that'll be the turn before you open your territory though.
Might be rough to fit her in. We'll see. Next card.
The original Claudia herself also shoots something for 3k.
Yeah. Okay, next card.
Yep. Shizetto. Suzette. Jesus. Katakane. She is an Avol with white, so blue and white Avol here. When this unit is summoned with Avol, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, choose a unit that is not Buster and is not a Regressor from among them that is cost 3 or less and blue, and you can summon that unit. Put the rest into the bottom of your deck. And it is a decoy.
I like it.
I like it too. It is.
Yeah, it is a. The problem is she can't summon herself because she has that tag, the regressor tag.
Yeah.
If there are any
still think
good
Yeah, go ahead.
recost, any good 3 lore, I think in the
Kirito?
blue-white deck.
Even
Yeah,
just playing a blue with a
yeah.
splash of white.
Kirito's a buster.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, all the good 3-cost blues are just busters.
There's the card that rests on summon. That's not a buster.
We'll have to check out what cards this can actually be worth with.
Yeah.
Usually people don't run units that aren't busters.
Speaking of, the next card is a 3-cost and not a decoy.
Well, there we go. Let's see. Drone Operator Maya. When this unit attacks a player and isn't blocked, same theme. Scout 1.
Oh, it's just a scout. All right.
I don't think it's bad. I just think there are better cards.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Next card.
All right. Crematis. She is a Psi unit, 3-cost buster, and when your life is in red zone, she gains 3,000 power. But if your territory is open, she also gains 3,000 power. She has the potential to be a 3-cost 9k.
Yeah, dang. 3-cost 9k is pretty dang beefy.
I think that's the beefiest 3-cost in the game.
I think it could see play in Psi for sure.
Oh, I don't know what deck you would use it with though. I feel like the buster slots are already filled for
yeah.
Iris and Camellia.
It's just a beat stick at this
Yeah.
point. Next card, Cetus, another buster, 8/5 decoy. The Evol lets you pay 3 blue and remove 2 commands from your graveyard to summon her instead. I think this card is strong.
Yeah, it'll definitely be strong on decks that utilize a lot of commands like Iora.
Or Iris, where you open your territory on 4 and you can play her on 5 for 3 cost. I think
it'll be
strong.
hard to run her in size because she's not searchable with any of the cards that add size to your hand.
But I mean, Iris in general is just a rush deck. You can use her first territory.
That's true. Use her first territory to draw.
Yeah, and just you put auras under things. Actually, this is just a huge beat stick decoy for your Iris weenies. Especially if you want to keep them alive, because since they have to attack for her second territory to use the cards underneath,
Yeah.
you can just keep them alive with this big ass decoy.
I'm glad that they didn't make this a 2-hit because I think that would have pushed the power level over the edge.
Yeah, but yeah, again, Iris's territory can make it a 2-hit. Or no, Claudia's territory can make it a 2-hit.
Yeah, Claudia's territory can.
This card is just so versatile.
Yeah, that's definitely another card to check out.
And it's an ultra rare. No wonder. Next card.
I think this has potential for Iora. Iora.
Yeah, it's definitely a good card.
So this is a 4-star, Jesus. This is a 4-cost shot that is a choose one of the following effect cards. And for those who don't know, Iora's most recent territory, blue-black, is you can say forget the choose one, I'll have both, and resolve them in order. So you can either choose one unit and deal 4k damage to it, or choose one unit, deal 6k damage. I got that wrong. Choose one unit, deal 4. You take it.
So you choose one unit and deal 6k, and then you can choose a different unit and deal 4k and -3 hit to it. So you get to choose one of the options unless you're Iora, and you get to choose both.
Thank you for saving me.
And it's a 4-cost quick, so I think it's pretty strong.
Oh my god.
It's very strong in Iora. Next card, 1 cost. Choose a unit. The unit gets buffed by 3k and blitz, and it can attack standing units.
Yep. And it's only 1 cost.
It's not a quick, which really bums me out.
I think it would be a little too strong if it was a quick.
Yeah.
If you just gain 3,000, I think that's okay. But if you gain Blitz as well on top of that, I think that's kind of busted.
This card lets Iora or other decks attack Badgertos and
Yeah,
kill
decks that
kill
are
him.
really reliant on spells to clear the board.
Yeah. Okay, next card. Kind of a lewd card.
This is Strengthening Experiment with Buton, which is the canonical name for the energy that makes Psy girls sigh. So if you would like to play this card, you can put, if your life is in red zone, you can pay it for 1 less cost, so that would be 2. Unit Ichimai Taisho Toshi. Target 1 unit during this turn. Make it so that its power becomes 10,000.
Interesting. And it's not a shot.
No, it's not.
I like it. I like it. Especially against black decks where they minus power, it completely negates that and changes their power back to 10k.
Yeah, it is also a side card, so Iris has another tool to work with here.
I like it. And I like the art.
Moving on to whites.
Yeah, moving on to white. The first white card, 6 cost, 4k to hit with an evol cost of 7. It's a decoy. When this unit uses the evolution and it hits the field, choose one of your opponent's units and it loses all abilities. Interesting. I think that costs way too much.
Power.
It costs 7 also.
I think if it was less, I think if either the cost was less or it had more power, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
This does make something lose decoy, but I think that price is way too steep. It's also it feels like they're constantly giving Shinpei, which is the Holy Warrior faction, like the worst cards in white.
Yeah. So, losing abilities on certain cards is really strong, especially against Margreta. But she can just pop herself in response, or like Ishtar, losing her ability to revive, or any card for that matter to revive.
Yeah, but you can't even run over Ishtar with this card is the problem. You can't even trade with it.
I know. Okay, next. Gotta love 3 cost busters.
Varencia. She is for Valen's deck. I've already started theory crafting for that deck. But this card says, its territory effect. When the total cost of your unit's white cost is 4 or more, this card gains 5,000 power.
Yeah, that's really strong.
So if you thought the 3 cost 9k when you're in red zone was bad enough, this one's a 3 cost 9.5.
And it counts
You don't
itself.
even have to be in red zone. It does.
Yeah, so it already gets 2.
Yeah.
You just need another 2 cost white on the field, and it's a 3 cost 9/5.
It's pretty strong.
And he can play off top deck. Next.
I think Valen's gonna go dummy this set.
The new Neferkusix. 6 cost, kind of 3k. Ooh.
He is. I think he's 3k because of how strong his first ability is.
Yeah, but
if your life is in red zone, all your opponent's units lose decoy if they have it.
And then he has his main ability where you can buff something by 3k, and if it has 10k power, it gets a hit, and you can only use it once per turn. And this one doesn't let you draw. It's actually a hit. The other one's a draw.
Yeah.
I think
they're
better.
made to be in tandem with each other. Yeah. There was a Sarwasul deck that topped in Fukuoka. So I would definitely be interested to see what the Sarwasul players, like, if they use this card at all.
I think I saw him.
Even if it's just to open the territory. Yeah, I also saw him.
Okay, next.
Next card. Morgana. Oh, she is a decoy. If this card would be put in the anywhere but the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, instead return to your hand. She is also a Shinpei, a holy warrior. This is the gimmick of the holy warriors. Is to return them to your hand if something would happen.
Yeah. I think
But the only problem is they have no way to summon themselves back. So
I think this could work with the gimmick deck that checks off top.
Really?
Because it's a 4-cost.
Oh.
And you can use the angels to top check for 4 and 5 costs or 3 costs. Yeah. I'm gonna theory craft that deck though, so we'll see. I don't like the card though.
Right, next we have another. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for decoys, it costs too much compared to the 3-cost Buster decoys that get to 7/5.
Yeah.
Next,
we have another 3-cost white. If the total cost of your white cards, if the white cost on the field is 4 or more, this unit gains 3,000 power.
This is just a weenie rush.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the deck is.
Yeah, this is just gonna be a weenie rush deck. Interesting. This is
with
pretty
your
good
boss monster.
balance.
9 cost from the last set. I forget what her name is.
I don't remember. Yeah, the Buster you just summon. I think the Valen deck is just gonna run all creatures. I don't think he needs any spells. You just run all creatures, and you always have extra cards in your hand because you can summon off top deck, and you just fill your field with weenies. I see it now.
I do think there's going to be one card that he runs, which is coming up a little later. One spell, I mean. At least.
Next Buster, 6-cost Buster with 6 ab, 6-pack. What is her name? Bonnie?
Vani.
Vani. Okay, 7/5, 2
She's
hits.
also a Shinpei. Oh, they're giving Holy Warriors a lot of love this set.
So it's the same effect if it's put anywhere besides the grave by one of your opponent's effects. You return it to your hand. When it hits the field and your opponent chooses one of the bottom 2 effects.
Which is either remove all cards from both players' graveyards. Remove all cards from both players' graveyards, or during this turn, this card gains 1 hit.
That is gonna destroy Mildex.
They get to choose, though. You don't get to choose, so they're probably going to give you the extra hit every time.
Yeah.
Same for Istarte, I feel. They're always going to give you the 3rd hit.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this. It's kind of just futsu.
Yeah, I think Shinpei is like the Holy Warriors as a whole are very weak at the moment.
Yeah, it's just a generally regular card. Next card, another 3-cost Buster. We love our 3-cost Busters.
Yuriana. She's a blue-white evil. When this card is summoned, target 1 unit with decoy, deal 10,000 damage to it. And then if your territory is open, she's also 6k. I think this card will be really good or really bad depending on how many decoys are in the upcoming meta. Because off the top of my head, I can only think of 2 relevant ones, which are Aladdin, who's an 1,100 when you have a 6-cost or higher on the field, and Endive. And she kills Endive, but Endive also gets to use an opponent's command instead when she does.
Well, the other Bloom decoy is 9k also.
Oh, Rhizome?
Yeah, and then the other
that
3
depends
cost,
if the deck plays it, though.
Yeah, 3 and 4-cost Buster decoys are still really prevalent. Like Errata. Errata is really powerful.
I know Errata is, but what was the other one? The 4-cost?
The red one. That rests a creature on play.
Oh, Rion? I don't think people run Rion.
I still think the card is really good, though.
Yeah, I do too.
We'll see. There's also been decoy killer cards and nobody's used them, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Next card. 9-cost Buster Atera. If this is over, yeah. If this is over 10k power and it attacks, choose one of your opponent's units and return it to their hand.
I think this is for the Sarwasul deck.
Yeah. When your opponent chooses this card as an effect, chooses this card with an effect,
that player must discard one card. If he does not, then that command is
okay.
negated and returned to the grave.
It's a 9 cost though. And
yeah, but you don't need 9 cost. You don't need it on the field to attach it to Sarwasul as an aura.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Angel of the Sunlight. Adira. I think this is gonna be a really powerful tool for that deck.
I think that's really strong, but I think the only issue that he's gonna run into is you can still be targeted before he activates the ability to copy the cards underneath him. So before you put if he puts a card underneath him, he gets all the effects instantly. But like on draw phase or entering main phase, you can still like shoot him.
I am feeling Sarwasul blue and white to run Smoke Discharger.
I actually think, now that I think about it, if they do shoot you and kill you at the beginning of your turn, or the end of their turn, you're just gonna flip again. If you have another territory opener, I think that's really powerful. It just depends on how good that deck has with draw and stuff.
Yeah. Also how it deals with aggro.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, 2 cost normal.
Yeah, 2 cost normal. Choose one of the following. It has 3 choose one effects. So choose 3 cards from your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and remove this card from your when it's finished, when the effect is resolved. Choose 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard, remove them, and then remove this card. Or gain 3 of whatever counter you are using currently. So that could be the alchemy counters. That could be Danzai counters.
The angel counters. Margreta. Or the Cthulhu counters.
So I think that Valen is going to use this card to shuffle in. Yeah, to shuffle in cards in his graveyard back into the deck, and then you can just keep summoning.
I'm really liking Valen right now.
Yeah, same.
You have basically an endless hand if you run all units. As long as you have mana, you can just continuously summon stuff off the top of your deck.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty powerful.
And then the last white card is Akareta Michi, the road that is opened.
1 cost, quick shot. Choose one of the following effects. Choose one of your opponent's 4 cost or lower cards and return it to their hand. Or choose a card in either player's graveyard and remove it from play. This card is powerful. Well, it's a shot, that's why.
Yeah. I really don't know how to feel about this card. Because again, it's the conundrum where it's a really good effect if it's just on a normal command. But the fact that it's on a shot and it's going to take up one of your slots makes you really think twice about it.
Yeah, it's funny that they keep this art too. These 2 characters are always on the card that has this effect. The remove or buff. Yeah. I think they're cute. Okay.
First up, we have the new territory of the new red ace, Zenobia. The back of the card looks pretty nice. The ace arts on the back of territories usually look pretty nice, but this one is just really out of the park, I think. The territory's effect is that you can discard 1 card from your one unit card from your hand, and you can summon a 6 cost or lower red unit from your energy. However, if you do, during the next end phase, it is removed from play. You can only use this effect once per turn. Zenobia is kind of the opposite of Badratos in the fact that she can summon 6 cost or lowers instead of 7 cost or highers. But besides that, I do think this deck has a lot of potential for the burst potential it has, but whether or not that's good enough to run it over Badger Toast remains to be seen. It'll definitely vie in the space for high cost red aces. Next is Barbadita. Barbadita. Alright, Japan. She is a berserk unit and says when she is summoned from the energy, you can target one of your opponent's units, and this unit and that unit deal damage equal to each other's power. Of course, with Zenovia's effect, Zenovia the new red ace, whenever you summon a unit from the energy, all your red units gain 5,000 power. So with her effect on Barbadita as well, that is a 14,500 shot to one of your opponent's units. Good card overall. Next is the oldest knight, Judal. During your end phase, destroy this unit. That effect might make you think this card is bad. However, that does protect it from being removed from the territory effect of Zenovia. And when you summon this unit from your energy, place the top 2 cards of your deck into your energy. He is basically a supercharge. Next is Peruno. She's an Evol unit, and when you summon her by paying 5 red and 2 colorless instead of 3 red and 2 colorless, she becomes 7 cost. You can choose one hereditary. No, what was that? Factor. One unit that does not have the factor trait and add it to your hand. And when your territory is open, this unit gains 1 hit. So she's a 5 cost 2 hit, which is pretty good. Next is Krimzuberir, the dragon for this set, which says when this unit is summoned, you may target 1 unit in your energy. You may add it to your hand. If you do, you may put 1 card from your hand into your energy. Rested, of course. So I think this might, even though it's a normal, it's kind of high cost, I think it might see play in Melissa, actually. Because even if you're top decking and you draw this, if you play him, he'll still get the buff from Melissa's territory, just by virtue of his own effect. I think this could be a late game swing card for Melissa. However, whether that deck will even see its popularity increase at all after the set remains to be seen. Of course, we went over Zenovia already. Beautiful card art. Nice effect. And she also has Blitz, which I forgot to mention before. Next, we have Erbinas. Her effect is, well, she's a 4-cost 7k, which should immediately raise red flags for a negative effect. And of course, during the beginning of your end phase, destroy this unit. So, she is a 1-turn gal. Next, we have a 4-cost buster, Lunar. She's a decoy, and says when this unit battles, you may target 1 unit in your energy and add it to your hand. If you do, you may put 1 card from your hand into your energy. She's a rare and also made for the Melissa deck, so she'll get a 5,000 buff per the territory, and this can happen on your opponent's turn as well, because she is a decoy. So potentially a 10k unit on your opponent's turn, which is a scary thought. Next we have Berha. She's an Evol unit that says when you play her Evol cost, which is 1 black, 2 red, 1 colorless, you may target 1 non-taboo ace in your graveyard. And for those of you who don't know, the taboo aces so far are only Bloom, I think. No, there's Bloom and the 4-cost black, I believe, as well as Diophilia, I believe. Anyway, that's besides the point. Target 1 non-taboo ace in your graveyard. You may target it, add it to your hand, and if you do, you have to discard a card instead. And when your territory is open, she also gains 3,000 power. Next is a card that I think was made to just crap all over Weenie Rush, which is sort of what's plaguing the metagame right now. Ryusa no Kyofu, which roughly translates to Fear of Quicksand. During this turn, if your opponent puts your life into the red zone during the turn you want to activate this card, instead of paying the cost of 2 reds, you can you can put 2 red energy, from your energy zone into your graveyard and play this card for free instead. And the effect is, you may target 2 of your opponent's cost 4 or less Buster units, and put those units into energy rested. So this is going to be a big deal, I think, against Ishtarte specifically, and Dianus, the dummy powerful ability of Dianus to summon 2 3-cost busters from your life and just continue applying aggro turn after turn after turn. This is going to go a long way in sort of dropping down that aggro and slowing the game back down, I think. And last red card we have, which says you can target 1 unit in your energy, add it to your hand, and put 1 card from your hand into your energy rested. If your life is in the red zone, you may shuffle your deck and put 1 card from the top of your deck into your life face down. I don't it's a 3 cost. It's a salvage. It's a pseudo salvage because it doesn't get anything out of your cemetery. But it does work with our oldest hero over here, our oldest knight. I think it has potential. I think we need to see how the Zenobia deck fleshes itself out before we make any judgment calls on a card like this. Alright, that was red.
Now let's look at the blue and black cards. First up, we got the new territory for Raila. Let's see. At the beginning of your end phase, if you played a unit and a command, check the top 3 of your deck, and from the 3 cards you can put a unit and a command into your hand and the rest into your grave. So it's really easy to use a unit and a command in the same turn, and this basically could get you a draw 2. So I think this territory can be pretty powerful for hand draw, and with the new ace that's coming up next, I think it works pretty well. So let's check Kushin, and the first evol unit for black and blue. This costs 2 blue, and the evolution cost is that you have to ditch a card from your hand. So instead of an extra mana, you have to actually discard a card. And if you evolution this unit, when it hits the field, choose one of your opponent's units and minus 2k power. As a 4 cost, this card seems pretty bad. Especially for minus 2k, you have to discard a card. I don't think that's good at all. So let's move on to the next card. The actual ace for this, the new territory that we just saw, Raira. 5 cost, 5k. When this unit hits the field, draw 1, discard 1. Territory effect. When this unit attacks, if you have played a unit and a command, deal your opponent 1 damage. So she counts herself. So on the turn that she's played, if you somehow, like, I don't see how you would be able to play a command in the same turn that you open your territory, but being able to deal 1 damage on attack and the territory drawing you potential of 2 cards, I think it has potential. I think this deck is pretty interesting. She's kind of small though, but draw ditch, yeah, and it's damage, so it does trigger first. And if they hit a shot or something, then she would die. You just lose an attack. So we'll have to see. Next card, 2-drop 2k decoy. We have one in blue white, a 2-drop 2k decoy, but it can't attack unless you pay one. So, but it's quick cast, so I understand. This card, I don't know how to feel about it. Decoys are always good, and a 2-drop decoy seems not the worst, but they're all definitely better options. The next card is Zhu Hao, 3-drop 3/5. This can attack standing units. The art's pretty cool too. But we all know that the 3-cost busters are so good that I don't think this card will see much use. 3/5, not bad. Okay, let's see the new ultra rare for blue black. 6-cost buster, 8/5 2-hit. This unit cannot block. When this unit hits the field, if you had played a unit and a command, all of your opponent's units are minus 6k. So it's basically a board wipe. It's really strong. It's like that Bloom card, Liverwort, but cheaper, I feel. But you have to have played at least play a command, because she counts herself when you play. I think she counts herself. I'm pretty sure she counts herself, so we'll have to see how that ruling goes. But yeah, playing a command though with the 6-cost, you'd have to find like a 1-cost command or something. Yeah, but minus 6k to your opponent's whole board. I like it. I kind of like it. Oh, another buster spell for Iora. 2-cost buster spell. Choose one of the following effects. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You can put any of them into your grave and the rest back on top. So a little bit of hand fixing and grave fixing. Choose one of your opponent's units, minus 6k. That's not bad. 2-cost minus 6k. It's not quick cast, but that's still pretty powerful. And it has legacy. You have to ditch a blue or a black command. You have to remove a blue or black command, and you can cast this from your grave. I like that. It doesn't cost mana, so it works with the territory. You can play your ace and then ditch a card to play this, and you can get the effect of the territory to draw and the damage of the ace. So I think this will be a staple in her deck. The next card, the blue-black shot. Choose one of the following. Choose one of your opponent's units, minus 8k, or all of your opponent's units, minus 4k. This would be pretty dang good in Iora, because there's no condition for it. Playing it from hand is kind of rough, but you can clock it for color, and there's no condition. You could just nuke something for 8 and then everything for 4. I like it. I like it. Seems pretty strong. On to another buster spell for Iora. 3-cost, 2 black. Choose one of your units during that turn. Your unit cannot be blocked. It gains a hit, and at the end of the next end phase, destroy it. And the legacy is also blue and black. Remove a card from your hand. So you could use this on the ace. It can't be blocked. It gains an extra hit, deals a damage on attack, and you activate your territory, but it gets destroyed at the end of the turn. This card seems like a good rush card. Like, you just use it. You don't have to pay anything. You discard a card, use it, get in for an extra hit, hopefully to win the game, and sacrifice a unit. You can sacrifice anything, like a little weenie or something. But I'd be interested to see all these new buster spells with legacy. You do have to get it into your grave if you don't want to cast the card, but there are deck fixing cards in the new black blues. Next one is really cute art. Little Iora is just sleeping there. Choose one of your units, buff it by 4k, or choose one of your opponent's units and minus it by 4k. I like this card. I think it's pretty strong. It's a huge power swing on one unit. And it's a quick cast 2-drop. Nice. Next, Buster 4-cost spell. For the turn, all of your opponent's units minus 4k, and the legacy effect of ditching a card. I don't like this card as much. It just seems like it's not that much power, but it is all of your opponent's units, and you could cast it with that 6-drop to deal 10k to your opponent's whole board. But again, you have to get it into your grave to do that, and it's a 4-cost. It's kind of rough. And the new blue-white territory, Cyber Survivor. Whenever your opponent's unit hits the field, you can remove 3 cards from your grave. So this whole new blue-white revolves around having no cards in your graveyard. Because at the end of your opponent's phase, if you have 3 or less cards in your grave, deal 5k to your opponent's whole field. That's pretty powerful. We have to see how well you can keep your hand size up in this deck. I think it goes pretty well with the Ace too, the new Margrea. When this unit hits the field, you can also remove 3 cards from your grave, and at the end of your opponent's turn, you can, if you have 3 or less in your grave, again, you deal 5k, so you can deal 10k to your opponent like every turn, just by her just sitting on the field, if you have less than 3 cards in your grave. I'm wondering how hard that's gonna be, because if you get damaged cards, you gotta get rid of them somehow by playing her or playing your territory. It seems like it'd be easy because every time your opponent plays a character, you can remove cards. And when it attacks, if you have 3 or less cards in your grave, it gains 5k and a hit. So this combo, I feel, is pretty powerful. 10-5, 2 hit, and a nuke at the end of turn. I'm interested to play blue, white, black with the new Buster spells. Just discarding a blue card to activate all these new effects. Like this one. Giving her an extra hit, so she's a 3 hit and can't be blocked. Even if she dies at the end of the turn, that's a 3 hit. I'd like to see the new rush. The new rush strategies seem pretty strong. Now we have Cat Girl. 6-cost Buster, Maru Hime. 6-5, 2 hit. When this unit hits the field, you can also remove 3 cards from your grave. And she gains 3k in decoy with the territory open. She's 9-5 decoy. For 6 though, again, we're gonna have to see how often you're gonna have to remove cards from your grave. 4-cost Tori. When it's the same effect. When this unit hits the field, you can remove cards from your grave. I just think this card's meh vanilla, basically, for the deck. Hence a 4-cost, not that strong. 3-cost Quick. Another quick unit for the instant character deck. Buster, Serena. Blitz and 3k. So you can flash her in, and she's a 5k blitz. Huh. I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. I always like Blitz. I think it's really powerful. I just think that they put it on like really bad units. So we'll have to see how good the blue-white instant cast deck actually becomes, because it needs help. A lot of help. Oh, another quick cast. Rico. 3-cost quick cast. 2 white. When this unit hits the field, choose one of your other units that has less than 3k power, and the next 3k damage it receives is negated. It has to be used on a 3k or lower unit though, and she can't use it on herself. It's basically an emergency heal. You just flash her in, and you can just reduce 3k damage off of something. It would be really good with this card though, but not when she's buffed to 5k, because it just doesn't work. Oh, who is this? Laika. See, all these quick cast units have such low power. It just doesn't seem worth it to play them. If your Graveyard has 3 or less. She gains 3k and Blitz, which is pretty powerful, but she's still a 6 cost. 6/5 with Blitz? Her evolution is an extra blue and 2 extra white, so she becomes a 7 instead of the 6. She becomes more color specific. And if you evolve and you have 3 or less in your grave, you nuke your... Oh, that's not bad. You nuke your opponent's field for 5k. So you can flash her in, shoot everything for 5, and like block something, and she'll blitz it before it can deal any damage to her. I don't hate it. It is kind of expensive though, 7 costs, but the board wipe potential, because of all of these rush, seems pretty... It seems useful. I just don't know what situations you'd use it in. Rokuro. 6 cost quick again with an evol. That you have to discard a card. If you evolution, choose one of your opponent's units and rest them. Ew. This card's a rare. I don't like this at all. 6 cost, discard a card, rest one of your opponent's units. I don't like that at all. There's so much better cards. So many better cards than that. The first blue-white shot. Quick cast. Well, game going on here. Choose up to 1 unit. Scout 2. Rest that unit. Interesting. So it's a... I don't like that. If only this wasn't a shot. Just basically pay 2, rest, and scry. The pay 2 resting is pretty good. But... it's a shot and it takes up a really important slot. So I wouldn't say this is going to be used. 24 kills. Dude, headshot. 2 cost quick. Choose one of your opponent's units. If you have 3 or less in your grave, deal 7k to it. And instead of putting it into the graveyard, you remove it from the game. So the only condition is that you have 3 or less in your grave. This could be used on turn 1. 7k and remove? I like it. I like that. It's pretty powerful. And it's not a shot. So it's a 2 cost 7k damage. Early game, you're not going to have any cards either. So I like this card a lot. I think this card will see play.
Now we're headed into red and white. So this video hasn't come out yet, but I did end up playing Margreta in the regional. We'll talk about that experience and how it went in a video later down the pipeline. However, for now, let me review the red and white cards. First is the territory of the new ace. Oh, she's so good. Lupin. Phantom Thief, Arsene Lupin. Who is right here as an ace. So her ace ability is, if this card is destroyed, discard 1 card. When this unit attacks, you may reveal 2 cards on top of your deck. Add up to 1 unit card from among them to your hand and remove the other one. Oh, interesting. Her territory says that when your unit is targeted by an effect, you may discard 1 card that is not a shot from your hand. If you do, then you may return that target to your hand instead. So it is an ability that lets you bounce your own unit back to your hand whenever it is targeted, which prevents the new red and white units on destruction effects from happening. Their on-play effects are going to be powerful for you, but if they get destroyed, they are going to essentially reset you to where you were before you use their effects. And the second effect is, when your unit battles, you may discard 1 shot unit. Or sorry, not 1 shot unit, but 1 shot card in general. If you do, return it to your hand. So this card is about cheating death and getting away. Very fitting for the Phantom Thief, Arsene Lupin. Next we have Sherlock's rival, Moriarty. Moriarty, I think, is going to be a real game changer. Not only for Margreta and also Arsene Lupin, but because this is the first shot unit that has a real effect that changes the game board. That is also a 6 cost. So her effect is that when she's played as a shot unit, you may target one player and they return an attacking unit to their hand. So when this card resolves, their unit will be attacking, the unit that attacked into your life and set her off will still be attacking. So you target that player, making sure she gets around Badgertos and also the dummy thick dragon he brings out, the 9 cost. But also, your opponent can only target one unit. Only one unit will be attacking on that. Very focused removal is what I want to say. Next, we have Tinkerbell. So adding more to the fairy tale side of things instead of the fiction. Oh, I guess the mystery, Phantom Thief thriller that is Arsène Lupin. So, she is also a shot unit. That is Berserk, a 4-cost fairy. I don't think that this card is worth running. But I think she could see niche play in Valen decks that are running red-white. Or potentially Melissa decks as well. Next up, we have Restored. I don't know who this character is. I am sorry to say I'm not that cultured. However, she is a 3-cost, 2 white, 1 red, and her effect is as follows. When this unit is summoned, you may put... Oh, wow. You may target one card in your opponent's graveyard and remove it. And when she is destroyed, your opponent may put the top card of their deck into their cemetery. So she is a very powerful effect against decks that want to manipulate the graveyard, which at this point is Ishtarte and Bloom, among others. You also have blue and black decks such as Iora or the new Ace from set 8. So I do definitely think that this card will see play. I think she's going to be a great 3-drop for the deck. Our next 6-cost is Grape. I don't know where she comes from. However, she is also a 6-cost shot unit with 3,500 power and 1 hit. And her effect is a quick timing effect. You may destroy this unit. You may target one other unit you control, negate any damage taken by it by 3,000 during this turn. Oh, not all damage, just the next instance of damage it would take, reduced by 3,000. Oh man, I feel like she's sort of useless. Damage reduction hasn't been a greatly explored mechanic in this game. There are a lot of cards printed with it. However, I do think that if you are running the Margretatory, you're just going to prefer to destroy something to get a search, or to reveal the top card of your deck and get a potential draw off and buff something by 3,000. It's not necessarily the same deal, but I do think that her effect isn't strong enough to warrant her being on a shot card. Our next red and white is Phantom 20 Venti. This card was revealed on stream a couple weeks ago. When this unit is destroyed, you must put the top card of your life into your graveyard. Your opponent puts the top card of their deck into their life. That's her destruction effect, which is what you want to avoid. However, her on-summon effect is when she is summoned, your opponent instead puts the top card of their life into their graveyard. You may shuffle your deck and put one card from the top of your deck into your life. She is a very strong card. She's a 7-cost for 7,500, which is kind of weak on that end. However, her effect shaves off your opponent's life anyway. Very powerful indeed. Definitely will see play in the Arsène Lupin deck. Next we have Kobayashi. Interesting. What are you supposed to be? Anyway, he is an evil card, which is 1 white, 2 red, so the same as his printed cost. However, in addition, you put the top card of your life into the cemetery. If you do, during this turn, this unit gains 1 hit. So he's potentially a 3-cost 2 hit on turn 1, which could be very strong. I think he might actually see, since he only costs 1 white, I think he might actually see play in Sakuya, since she wants to try to get to red life as quickly as possible. Well, she's treading a fine line, but that's a powerful effect. I think people will definitely experiment around with this. Our next card was also revealed on stream. She is Sebastian, not this kind of Sebastian I remember. Her destruction effect is when she's destroyed, your opponent can summon any unit from their hand, regardless of cost. However, on summon, your opponent targets their unit with the highest power and returns it to their hand. Sort of a double-edged sword. If you play her on 6... Oh, that territory, though. That territory is not bad for this. She's also a 6 cost 8,000, which is kind of powerful. Especially if she's bouncing something so she can get in damage for free. People definitely play around with this, I feel. Next we have Moriarty in our card work. And this card is 2 cost, quick, and a shot though. Oh man, shots have been the death of a lot of good cards just because they're not quite powerful enough to warrant them being shots. But this card says as follows. Target up to 1 unit. During this turn it gains 2,000 power. If this command was played by a trigger, instead of putting it into your graveyard, return it to your hand instead. I think you would rather just run shot units instead of having a 2k buff and then having it returned to your hand for another 2k buff. And our last red and white card of the set is, as you can see from the card art, an Arsene card. So you can target one of your units and remove it. If you remove it, you may look at the top, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add all unit cards from among those to your hand. Remove the rest. This is very powerful draw and also allows you to dodge your on-death effects. I think a lot of decks are going to mess around with this and not just Arsenes. Just 3 cost for drawing 3 potentially is very strong. You do need to remove a unit, which isn't as good in other decks as it is in the Arsene deck. However, drawing 3 might be good enough to warrant removing a unit anyway, especially if it's as early as on your turn 2. And that was it for red and white. And last but not least is red and black, starting with really, we got this so soon after she was released, but our second print of Sakuya. She is not a buster. However, she can open her territory still. When this unit is summoned, each player draws 1 card instead of just your opponent now. So she has given herself a little consistency here. And her territory effect is that when she's destroyed, each player draws 1 card. So she's drawing each player 2 cards, essentially, every instance of her. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in hand, after your opponent draws a card, you may target one of that player's units, up to one of that player's units, and you may deal damage equal to the power of this card. So this is an on-destruction effect, so she has not yet hit the graveyard, meaning that if she dies with 8,500 power, you may deal damage to something that is 8,500 power. If she is only 5/5 when she dies, then she will only deal 5,500 damage to something. A very strong card. I still think giving your opponent cards in this game is too much of a negative. However, I do think that Sakuya is going to be dummy good in tag battles. Next, and a card I'm really excited to run in the Sakuya deck, is this Oni right here. He is a 7 cost buster normal, which usually isn't a good recipe for anything. However, on summon, you may target 2 of your opponent's units, and they deal damage to each other equal to their power. So he is the command from set 7 in a unit. He also possesses Blitz, so he can finish off whatever the effect didn't kill. It is a very strong card, and I think this normal is going to just take over the Sakuya deck. Next we have a 5 cost Evol, another Evol unit. She is black-red, and her Evol cost is that you put your life into your grave, which Sakuya wants to do. It's part of her gimmick. If you do, if you summon her with Evol, during this turn, this unit gets 5,000 power. So she is a 5 cost 9/5 on play. This isn't a territory effect. You can do this whenever. I don't think this will see play, however. I think on 5, you ideally want to going to want to drop a Sakuya, and this card is just not beneficial enough to you on 5. Maybe if you don't draw Sakuya, but I feel like at that point you're going to lose momentum the next turn by just having a 4/5 on field. Next is more 3-cost busters in the set. When this unit is summoned, one other player draws a card. This is the tag aspect of Sakuya that I mentioned earlier. It says that one other player draws a card. It doesn't specify that it has to be an opponent, so it could be your teammate. And her effect is a normal timing, and you pay 2 black and 1 red. You may pay the cost and put 1 buster on top of your life. So she reactivates, or she is allowing Sakuya to activate her effect. So every time you can put a buster on top of Sakuya's life, and then activate the territory effect to discard that buster back and have each player draw 1 card. If you do, during this turn, she gains 5,000 power and 1 hit. So she's a 10k 2-hit that recycles a buster from your cemetery. I think this is a very powerful card. Especially in Sakuya, 3-drop 5,000 by itself is stupid. It is stupid. However, adding that she has late game value as well is what makes a good 3-drop in my opinion. Nadia, Rabian has early game, and then in late game she becomes a 6,000 beat stick. These 3-drops with awesome effects are what make decks good decks. So I think this one is going to be another addition to that circle. Next we have a 4-cost. She is a Berserk unit and part of a new mechanic that Black and White have, which is decreasing the hand size limit for each player. There are only 2 of these cards in the set, both have Berserk. However, this unit, if your territory is open, gains 3,000 power. So she's a 7/5 Berserk that minuses your opponent, both players' hand limits by 1. And the second of these cards is a 3-cost 3/5 Berserk, which does the same thing. The only difference here is that one is a buster, the other is not. Next is a 6-cost, a decoy. When this unit is summoned, if your opponent has 4 or more cards in hand, you may choose one of that player's units, and this card and that unit deal damage equal to each other's power. So she essentially shoots something with her own power and receives that damage as well. A decoy, which I think the Sakuya deck severely needed. 6 cost, so you can play her right after Sakuya. However, in certain decks, the condition of having 4 cards or less in hand, or 4 cards or more in hand, excuse me, is very hard to accomplish, given how much they cycle through their hand. Adding to this, I don't know how well the hand size reduction will synergize with the Sakuya effects like that. Because if your opponent doesn't get rid of these, it's bad for them. However, you won't be able to activate your effects. I guess it's sort of a trade-off. If they're having trouble at this stage of your deck's presence, then like they won't even have anything left when you get to this stage. Now on to the last 3 commands for Black and Red, which is Bodyguard Request. You may target 1 unit. Each player draws 1 card, and during that turn, that target gains 5,000 power. It is a direct parallel to, if I can pull it up, Set 7's Otome no Mezame, the Girl's Awakening, which says target 1 unit, it gains 5,000 power. Then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a unit, add it to your hand. Each player drawing a card, a 2-cost 1/1 that has a buffing by 5,000 effect. Powerful card. Powerful card. We'll definitely see play in a Sakuya deck. Next is a shot trigger. Each player sends the top card of their life to the cemetery. And if they do, each player draws 1 card. Another powerful effect for Sakuya. Shaving off both players' lives. You want to obviously shave yours off. You start with 12 as opposed to your opponent's... No, you start with 13 opposed to your opponent's 10. So you're going to have the heads up on direct trade like this. If it's a shot especially, it is good. Your opponent drawing is always good in Sakuya, until it's not. And the last card, another 3-cost shot. You may target one of your opponent's 5,000 power or lower units, and put that target into the energy zone rested. We have a plethora of cards that do this shit already. I don't think it's breaking any new ground here. I don't think this is going to see play at all. And our last 2 cards of the set, the 2 rebuild rares, which are new artworks of Iora combined with new signs. I believe they have the same name. Yes, they do. There's an A version and a B version. I don't even want to think about how difficult these are going to be to pull. Allegedly, there's a Melissa in here as well. That's a rebuild rare, so... Oh, good lord. Have mercy on my collector's soul. But that was the set. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, let us know what you thought of our content, and subscribe. Help us push to 50 subs. We are having a giveaway for Fullmetal Alchemist's Divide Rare Elric Brothers, so if you haven't seen that video, please check it out in the video description down below. Until then, we've been Build Divide Worldwide, and we'll see you in the next video.